Once he knew I'm coming into the Hindi market, he himself volunteered and said, no, we are there for you. No, with Dabangg I'm done as villain. So when I'm directing Salman Khan, you should wait, no? We have to understand that these are the minds we are doing films now for. Reviving theatres is totally in the hands of viewers also.
Hi guys, this is Himesh and welcome to Pink Villa. Today we have with us Sudeep, who is all gearing up for the release of Vikrant Rona. Welcome to Pink Villa, sir. It's lovely having you here.
Thank you, sir.
Sir, my first question to you is, how and when did you come across the idea of Vikrant Rona? It has been a long journey, so.
It has, much before that there's another film we were discussing, and there came a time, when we just went blank.
Okay.
On the screenplay time, not the script and story. So that's the time when we had taken a small 1 week off. I thought, I just told my director, let's cut the discussion for a week. We are heading nowhere. And that is the time this popped up, and Priya called me, wife called me, and she said that there's a script. She wanted to produce this film on a smaller scale with newcomers.
Okay.
But then when she heard this film, she said, you might also like it. You just hear it out once.
Okay.
And I heard it, and that's when it all happened. Yes.
And we have seen so many times, like the example you gave, there's a film which actually comes to mind is Dabangg. When Dabangg 1 was being made, it was actually a very small film, but when Salman sir came into picture, they decided to make it larger than life to justify his aura and presence. Was that the case over here as well when you came on board?
Yeah, it was meant to be a small film, and that was the director's vision, to make it very realistic and in a probable jungle and things like that. And when I came in, I kind of visualized this film as he was narrating it in the way it is right now, probably. And my director was in the 90s. He wanted to position the film in the 90s, and I was somewhere in the 60s. So we had a small debate about it for a couple of weeks, and then once he agreed upon this whole thing, I think he went very in depth and detail, and the whole idea of this visuals of jungle and this land and everything he came out with.
And so, you have been in this industry for, I think, over 25 years as an actor?
26.
26. So, according to you, how difficult is it for you to get a script which does justice to your aura, as well as at the same time the concept is also not compromised on any front?
So, you can't have multiple layers here where you can say that, which suits my aura, then this and that and all that. I think you should just start looking for scripts. Okay. And if something excites you, I guess it just excites you. We can't really keep all this buts and maybes and pros and cons, and then sit across with already a load full of baggage full of things, saying that, okay, now I have to cater my script to these segments of people, this sector of people, this friends, this things of my career. No, I think you just listen to the script the way it is, so and just be honest.
There's no baggage of starting.
My opinion. Maybe there are people who look forward to in such angles. I don't layer my thoughts.
Okay.
So yeah, I just go straight.
When did the idea of making this a multilingual project come in your mind?
Beginning itself. As and when we heard the story, we sat across for the discussion, and then producer and me, Jack and myself, we decided we'll do 2 languages.
Okay.
And then when the discussions went, we thought we'll just shoot in 1 language, we'll dub in all the languages, because that's because the scale of the film is as such, and it is progressing in that manner that it's a story need to be told in every language. So that's how it all happened.
Salman is presenting the film in Hindi belts. Has he seen the assets of the film? Has he seen the film? How has he been reacting to this, and how did this collaboration happen?
He has definitely seen the showreel, sir, which is almost about 18.5 to 19 minutes of showreel, which he was thoroughly impressed with. And he has been after that linked with us. Not that I will not give that itself the credit that because he saw the footage. See, I share a bond with him also, and have an equation with him also, and not that I went asking for it. But once he knew I'm coming into the Hindi market, he himself volunteered and said, no, we are there for you.
Okay.
See, it was a very big thing to offer. Now, he didn't have to just jump. He would have seen that 18 minutes and he could have just let it be.
Yeah.
But I think, that is where he comes from, that he didn't become a part of this film. See, he's a big star. He's earning money left, right, center. He doesn't have to earn from us. But then, him coming in the angle, with that angle that, no, I'm there for you, we'll do justice, we'll do our best for your film, Sudeep. And I think that way is a huge thing for me. And
correct.
That itself makes volumes of
difference.
Opinion about him, what he is.
Yeah. Basically, it's thinking from the heart and just going all out for friends.
He is. He believes something, he will do it.
Yeah.
That's what he is.
And so, how do you perceive the state of Indian film industry at this point of time after the pandemic?
Fantastic.
Because of course films are working. Kannada film industry is actually one of those which has actually had a lot of successful films, be it KGF or 777 Charlie also, which did very well. But still, people are saying there's a change in audience perspective in the post-pandemic times, which is reflecting in the box office collections too. So how do you view this all across? I'm not saying just Hindi, all across the industry.
Things have changed. Things have changed, and I think it's a very good time for the film industries, because what we used to earn in like 5-6 weeks, we are earning in like 3-4 days. So the revenues have increased, and definitely there is a good time. And if you say people's opinions have changed, I think, sir, people are trying to, after all this pandemic and impatience, and somehow they all have managed to get back to their lives, most of them at least. Now people don't want to waste money and don't want to waste time more than anything. So they keep indirectly telling you, please stick to the point. Don't drag your film because you can tell a story for 2.5 hours. Maybe the story deserves only 1.5 hours. Maybe the story deserves only this many minutes of screen time. Tell us within that. Don't forcefully put a song, It's a very impatient mindset, which we are to which we are catering our films to. I think we have to understand that these are the minds we are doing films now for. So we better sit with not one scissor but imaginary 2 to 3 scissors and cut the film from all angles and just push it to this degree.
To the point, basically.
To the point, and just come to the point straight and stick to the point. Any character, any line, any song which is out of the box, I think throw it out. That's what the content says today.
Correct. In today's time, especially on social media, even you are there on Twitter and all those platforms, rather than celebrating this entire phenomenon as an Indian film industry, now it has become all versus this versus that. How do you view this aspect where people are comparing rather than collaborating?
Let them compare, it doesn't matter. We are not comparing. Collaboration is happening from our end. Comparisons are happening from third parties and fourth parties. Doesn't matter, sir. Doesn't matter. We are collaborating. All industries are happy in exchange of thoughts, exchange of ideas, exchange of actors, directors, music directors. I think there is a lot of collaborations happening over there. Collaboration of promotions. When we come here, some people come here to promote with us. When they come down, we are there to promote for their films for them. I think it's a beautiful collaboration. Opinions are coming from all different other angles who are not connected to the fraternities at all. I think that's okay. That's acceptable.
And so, I was speaking to Rakshit recently during 777 Charlie, and he said that he wants to make the film that he was planning with you, Thugs of Malgudi, I think so. It's an ambitious project. Have there been discussions with Rakshit on reviving it?
Rakshit is a very sweet boy, and he has this very cold fights with me, which he doesn't express, and I have mine too. See, I think I admire him as a writer. I admire him as an actor more after Charlie, and he has a great ambition of telling stories. And I think every time he talks about Thugs of Malgudi, I'm sure when he wants to do, he will do. But I keep telling people, I keep bullying people, and everybody says, don't believe this guy. Not because he doesn't want to do. As and when he's finishing one film, something else will excite him. And he'll run into that. Which is fair also. That's okay. You know what I'm talking about? So this Hindustan will happen when it has to happen. But if it happens, I think he has a brilliant idea. I just know a line of it, that's it. But it's a brilliant idea what he has, and I'm sure when he does, he'll do a great job out of it.
And so what next for you after Vikrant Rona? Like, what are the projects that you are looking at?
Nothing, sir. A lot of projects are happening, but then I think I'll go one at a time and I'll finish this film, put it to the shore. We are almost reaching the shore today.
Yes.
Luckily, things have been, even though the pandemic, even though a lot of situations were there, time has been kind, and we were able to sail through every tide. So let us put the film to the shore first and then think about which restaurant to hit.
Right. And so you have worked with S.S. Rajamouli sir in Eega, which is one of my personal favorite films that even S.S. Rajamouli sir has directed. One of my personal favorite of yours as well. You did a small part in Bahubali 1. Are there any other discussions with him happening? Do you keep discussing work or something on?
No, I have not been in touch with him at all actually. After Eega, we were in touch for some time. But then, he is very busy and I am busy with my work, and we have not been in touch. And see, we had a very beautiful director-actor relationship, more than friends. So I will not say that we shared a friendly bond. We shared a very beautiful director-actor bond, which there's a lot of respect for each other there. I think if there is something, it will come my way. I don't have to discuss and all that. And he doesn't discuss much about all that.
Okay.
He discusses only after when the film starts. Okay, so he discusses with his team and all that stuff. There's nothing much that we have discussed at all after a year.
Sir, now we have some fan questions for you, which we have asked on Twitter.
Yeah.
So I'll just pick some of the interesting ones. The first one is from Himanshu Mistry. Why is it called Vikrant Rona?
Because it is Vikrant Rona, the character name is Vikrant Rona, and there's no better name than Vikrant Rona right now.
Okay. The next one is from Prasanna. Single screen shutting down in Karnataka day by day. As a hero of the film industry, what's the reason for it? What precaution is the industry planning to revive theatres and increase the screen count?
Reviving theatres is totally in the hands of viewers also, who need to come into the theatres and not just stick to the OTT platforms. Though OTT platforms are a very beautiful platforms, I totally agree. But reviving cannot happen with only one hand clapping, sir. One hand being the film industry. In this one hand, I mean directors, actors, writers, producers, screenplay writers, investors, ideas, industry, Telugu, Tamil, all. This is one hand. There's one big hand which can clap together. No? This is the viewers.
Okay.
Reviving of theatres is not in our hands, sir. People are still making films. There are still 70-80 films releasing from each industry every day. But what is happening? People are not coming to theatres. Now suddenly don't say cinemas are not good. There are average cinemas every year. But now since OTT is happening, people know that suddenly in the next 2 weeks, 3 weeks it will come. And already OTT we have another 100 films we have not seen. So why go now? Unless this is on big movie or some movie which has captured our attention. I think reviving can happen when everyone, people like you, and everybody decide and discuss that we need theatres. That is when it can revive. So don't put that responsibility only on the industry people.
Okay, that's interesting. The next one is from Ronit. Is Vikrant Rona going to have a franchisee if the first part works?
He has the answer in his question. If the first part works.
Okay.
So like the clapping story, I'll come back again. Okay. So franchise is not in one clap. You clap with us and the franchisee may come again. Okay. It is not that I can prematurely discuss that there can be a part 1, part 2 and part 1 may not do well at all. It is not like that.
But there's a possibility.
Secondly, I'm not somebody to whom this part 2 will excite because part 1 did well. I would like to move on with another film and not oscillate around the same thought. Unless a part 2 was decided much earlier, even before the takeoff of the first part. If I know beforehand that this part 2 was decided because of the script, then okay. Capitalizing on the success of the first part, if a franchisee 2 comes, if another franchisee comes, part 2 comes of the same thing, that may not exactly excite me because I don't think that our intent remains the same, right? It's already changed.
Then it's to make money.
Yeah, basically. So I don't think I'm going to don that cap again for that kind of money. Unless my director comes out and says, Asa, you have no idea. There's another extraordinary thought I have called Vikrant, then yes, maybe. Okay. On an excitement level, yes.
Okay. The next one is from Harsh. Sudeep sir last year in an interview said that he was planning to direct Salman Khan in a film. What has happened to that?
So when I'm directing Salman Khan, you should wait, no? It just started last year. Wait for another few years.
Okay.
Before I tell him, before he says yes, and then I'll tell you when he'll come to the set. So it is with Salman Bhai, it's going to be like that.
So basically, you have
He's
something.
He's so busy with so many people writing for him and everything. We keep discussing. When it happens, it will happen, sir.
Okay. Last couple of questions. This one is from Yashu. Will he ever work with Prabhas if he gets a chance?
Why not? Do I look like we are enemies or something like that? He's a very sweet guy. I met him once.
Yeah.
So I think, yes, if there's a good stuff for both of us, yes. But not as a villain.
Okay, not as a villain.
No. With Dabang, I'm done as villain. Both pichuka mein.
So now you want to play hero?
No. Now I've always been the protagonist, sir. I've always played good roles like that. And I don't mind playing a grey shade. I don't mind. But I'm not an out and out. The only time in my entire life I've been an out and out villain was this one.
Dabang.
Alright, so I think I did it happily for Salman sir, but otherwise I'm not that. So when you're talking about getting an opportunity with working someone, I think if the role is good for both of us, I think we should.
This one is from Rahul Kumar. He's one of your die-hard fans. He says, when is he starting the movie with Manadu director Venkat Prabhu?
Venkat is right now busy with something else. They are all sitting on the script. I think it should go on floor something in October.
Okay. So this year itself, like
Yeah.
hopefully that would be your next film basically.
No, I'm going to be starting another 1 or 2 before that.
Okay.
Yeah.
This one is from Kannadiga, if I pronounced it right.
Yeah.
What are the extra responsibilities that a hero should bear when doing an ambitious, high-budget film which caters to the pan-India audience versus the other commercial films which don't cater to the pan-Indian audience? Is it feasible to constantly do pan-Indian movies given that time, money and efforts involved in it are too high?
Wow. Can you just explain that question in English to me again?
Basically, he means that what are the extra efforts that an hero should bear?
That's all.
Yeah.
No?
While
That's
doing a
all
pan-India film versus
it went all over the place and came the question. There's no extra efforts, sir. How can you have extra efforts and you know, you're discriminating your own films. You're saying this is a high-profile film. That's not a high-profile film. I think every film is the same. Correct? Right now, as and when I'm talking to you, I do not know the value of your cameras. So how should it matter? As long as it is capturing us well, whether it is a mobile, whether it's a 7D, 5D, or whether it is another camera, it shouldn't matter.
Yeah.
So how can I discriminate between all these things? And because if it's a high budgeted, our responsibility is that a director should be happy by the end of the day that I did my role well and I went home. I think that's all it takes. It doesn't matter.
And before we sign off, last words on Vikrant Rona for all the fans.
Vikrant Rona is a very dear film releasing on July 28th worldwide.
Perfect. Thank you so much, sir. Lovely speaking to you and wish you all the best for the film.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Hi, this is Kicha Sudeepa here and you're watching me on Pink Villa.